Hey friends, buckle up for a new episode of the Seller's Journey podcast with Uvaro CEO, Joseph Fung.
This week, we had the pleasure of speaking with Nancy Karlovich. This conversation was such a delight. Nancy came to Uvaro with a rich background full of experience, but sought a career rebirth. We learned which past experiences translated well and which new skills she needed to pick up along the way to make this career rebirth a reality. Stay tuned, you'll enjoy this one. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful, beautiful day. How are you doing?
Doing well, Joseph. So nice to be here and to talk about Uvaro and my experience and the seller's journey. Looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, it's going to be such a blast. I know that your journey has been not just unique amongst our members, but also rich and varied, and I think it's going to be a fun conversation.
Absolutely.
People are always curious, our guests, kind of where are they at, what do they do? So I see you posting about Bloom Finance all the time. It seems like such a great company to work with. Can you give our listeners just a quick overview? What is Bloom Finance? What do they do? And what's your role there?
Great question. So Bloom Finance is a fintech provider of reverse mortgages for seniors or Canadians 55 plus. What we allow is for them to release the equity in their home and live the retirement dreams. So we started about 2 years ago. Our founder, Ben McCabe, started this company with a vision to help Canadian seniors live the retirement lifestyle that they want and stay in their home. We started lending. We started that whole dream came into fruition about a year ago as we started lending. We're doing great work both on our consumer side and our referral side. I take care of the referral side. I'm the director of partnerships. So what I do is I go out and form networking and partnerships with various mortgage agents across the country and help them use Bloom for their clients. And I make that experience as pleasant as possible for them.
So you've got this wicked role at a cool startup, and you've found this role after a heck of a journey of a variety of different roles. I'd love to hear, how would you describe your career journey to date? Like, what would be the highlights that you point to?
So I would say, you know what, I was a little bit different than the average Uvaro student. I think the average Uvaro student was probably in their 20s. I'm approaching 50. So I had a rich career, generally in finance, both on the back end and the front end, in operations, also in customer service and sales, of course. My career journey was within banking and finance and customer service and back end operations. It was I wore various hats and things like that, but mostly in finance, in banking and credit union space.
So when you talked about joining Uvaro, you talked about how it was time to kind of make a shift, to transition your career, to kind of make a bit of a pivot. I'd love to just, if you can reflect back to when you were making that choice, what was it that motivated you to make a change? Why switch industries? Why make that change?
Yeah, great question. So really, it was an interaction with a past business associate that I had. His name was David. He had very similar the background that I had, and he was able to pivot into tech sales. And I was keenly interested in sort of, how does this work? It seems you have a great gig working from home, a great salary, a great opportunity to sort of build your business and do what you do. And his answer was pure luck. He was just able to take his skills and be able to bounce into a role, and that role led to another role. So I thought, hey, if he could do it, I could do it. So I started looking at a SaaS sales role, technical BDR roles, account executive roles, and I was hit with a door in my face every single time. And then I said, okay, so I'm going to have to take a course. I started reading some books on sales, on technical sales, on things like that. And I thought, wow, there's a lot of challenges for me to kind of transition into such a role. So I stumbled upon Uvaro. And I was able to connect and reach out to some of your, I guess, managers that handle recruitment and things like that. And they took me through sort of what you offer and how you offer it. And I thought, this is great. It's at a great price point, the flexibility, study at my own time. I'm going to learn some new skills. And then I took the leap and took the Uvaro course.
So let's kind of unpack this a bit. I'd love to hear some specifics, because when I look at your career journey, you've had management roles, director roles, you've been in mortgages and wealth management. You've got such a wealth of experience. And David mentioned how his skills translated. So when you said the doors, you were getting doors shut in your face. What were some of the gaps? Like what were the excuses that people were giving for not opening those opportunities to you?
I think I just didn't know the terminology. When I was interviewing for these roles, I didn't understand technology well enough. The technologies that I was trained at Uvaro, whether it's Salesforce and different sort of technologies that you use, whether it's Slack, whether it's video sales methods. I wasn't. It really challenged my thinking, Uvaro, and it was able to give me the sales training and understand what a sales cadence was, understand how important email outreach is and how you do it and how you build a sales cadence. It taught me how important understanding different methods of reaching these people and different methods of building those scorecards that you need to be successful in such a role. So I didn't have the technical or the terminology that they were looking for, because I never had a business development role within a tech field, or a success manager role, or an AE role. I didn't even know what they really did, to tell you the truth, until I took Uvaro.
So, I mean, you've went through an amazing list of things where you kind of picked up new things, and that's a really clear indicator of where there were some gaps. But at the same time, I'm sure so many of your past experiences and skills translated well. So for someone who's listening in, and that's in a similar situation to where you were, can you help put their mind at rest? What were some of the areas where it felt like a repetition, or where it was just rehashing of old skills?
Somewhat. Well, I've done a lot of sales training in my life. So understanding, the sales journey and some of the skills that you need about closing and opening and things like that was a repetition, I think. But it challenged my thinking, and I think, Joseph, that was critical. That I was stuck in a rut, and I was able to challenge my thinking and redefine myself as a salesperson, and I think that was critical.
When you imagine redefining yourself as a salesperson, I mean, would you have used actual different words, or more of the way you imagined yourself? What does that mean for you?
It just gave me increased confidence in terms of how I approached a sales call, or an email, or a video call, or an outreach, or anything like that. It gave me so many more skills, and it really, through the exercises we did at Uvaro and the teachers, our instructors, and how they critiqued us, it really challenged me and made me look inward to say, hey, am I doing the best job that I can? And I think that was critical. I think I was in a rut before Uvaro.
It sounds like you went through some amazing self-reflection and introspection, which has me now super, super curious. You've got this cool role at Bloom, and hearing you talk about Bloom Financial, you seem really excited about it.
Yeah.
When in your journey did you determine that was the kind of company you wanted to be at?
Yeah, there was part of Uvaro that I really enjoyed also was the career training, or how to look for a job, how to answer those questions, tell me about yourself, how to use LinkedIn, how to, applying for a job is not just applying to a posting. So that was the old me, and the new me is something very different. So through Bloom was actually someone I was talking to before Uvaro. Yeah, it was a little bit different, but they were still in I guess, development phase and things like that. But I think going through Uvaro and understanding, I wanted to do something in a banking fintech world, and there was a lot of different companies out there that I was looking at or selling into banking. That's something I wanted to do. So Bloom fit those. It checked all those boxes, and I was very excited about working for a startup. So, it was a startup. It was in the financial services space. It was in mortgages, which I knew, and it was a fintech where I can apply all these skills to, keep me moving forward and really honing the skills that I built through Uvaro.
Now, when I speak to people who have a career in banking or traditional industries, often what I hear is the idea of joining a startup, that's small or earlier, is very intimidating.
It is.
Did you feel that as well?
Somewhat. I think
Okay.
there's always in the back of your mind something about security. Because startups don't have that security per se, as opposed to a larger organization. And coming from a larger banking world, for me, I look at total compensation in terms of benefits, RSP matching, things like that. So this company unfortunately doesn't have a lot of that. I think they're working towards it. What I do enjoy is the entrepreneurial atmosphere that we have here and the closeness we have as a team. We meet every day for a sales call. We are constantly on Teams talking to each other. We can redefine a process within 20 minutes. So I love that ability to build our own path.
That
And
autonomy, that has got to be
yeah,
such a key part of the whole
absolutely.
package.
The working from home and not going into the office has changed my life. It has changed me physically, emotionally, spiritually. I have so much more time for myself, and I'm better at my job.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that was
Yeah.
profound.
Yeah, and
There's a lot in there.
at the end of the day, I'm better at my job. So, and I look forward to coming to work because I have a 35-second commute. In traditional banking, it was exhausting. It was, putting on the suit and putting on, full face of makeup and drudging downtown and doing all that. You can't put a price on that. So, for people worried about a startup, I guess you have to look at your own risk tolerance. I can't make that decision for you. There's a lot of pluses and negatives of each one, but I think it's something someone should do once in their life.
Your joy and your positivity of
Yeah.
kind of the new experience just comes out in your voice, and,
Yeah.
and feel like I could just feel it. It's great. So let's talk a little bit about that. The role of Bloom. So right now, in your role, you talked about bringing on partners, and that meaning the focus on your role. This is a sales related podcast, so let's ask that question. What makes a great partner? What would be a great referral for you in case someone's listening in and they know that match?
Yeah.
What's a good referral
So
for you?
we're looking for mortgage brokers that focus on the senior clientele, that want to keep seniors in their home, and using a reverse mortgage is something that definitely is that. They are literally thousands of mortgage brokers across the country. So my job is to reach out to them and really see who's involved in this niche product. My job is to educate, build awareness. I do a lot of calls, like lender calls every week, where I take them through a presentation and help them understand the product and how to also utilize this when speaking to their customers, identify leads and send those referrals to us. I also am on the road. I actually, go out and drop into offices and do these presentations. We do a lot of conferences where we have a booth and we're out there, shaking hands and building relationships and doing all this. So it's a multifaceted role. So from a lot of outbound calls, I use video messaging daily. So I'm doing videos, emails, I make about, say, 30 to 40 calls a day, trying getting people engaged, and then, getting on the road and getting out there in front of different brokerages. So what makes, everybody has a senior client in their database. It's how to, so mortgage brokers who are enthused about the product and are able to send us these referrals and work with their clients, they'll definitely make a great referral partner.
you've given such a great outline of that kind of referral, but also the work that you do day to day.
Yeah.
So I can guess what I think your answer will be for this next couple of questions, but I'll ask it anyway.
Sure.
In your work now, so you've gone through this amazing career, you went through Uvaro, you've landed this role at Bloom Financial. People will often ask, is it meaningful? Is it worth it? Does it make a difference? So let's say in your role today, I'd love to hear, is there anything specific you're doing at Bloom that you learned or picked up during your time at Uvaro? Is there anything you'd highlight as something you do day to day that was really influenced by your time in the program?
Oh, definitely my sales process.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely my sales process. I think the old me is like I would have sent an email and left a voicemail, and if they haven't returned it, I think I would have like closed the lead at that point. The importance. So we use a very robust Salesforce here. So utilizing Salesforce. So what I'm doing because of Uvaro is building that sales cadence and building that strategy in terms of how to reach out to these people, using LinkedIn to build customized emails, to understand that it's not as simple as an introduction and an attachment, that we really need to build a sales cadence and rely on that, through, video, voicemail, LinkedIn, everything that we're learning through the course, and also our sales theories that we've learned through the course, and how to leverage those to build a better sales process and hopefully increase our opportunities and our close.
So I think there's a great example there in how Uvaro can make a difference. But what stands out to me when I think about your journey is how you have so much applicable experience in your time with mortgages and in banking. So can you help me understand and help our listeners understand what lessons from your previous work history and career and journey are you able to apply in this role with Bloom Financial now?
Okay, great question. I think there is the actual product. So I understand the product and mortgages and how it works. I also understand the broker community and what they're looking for because I've been part of that community, and previously to that, working within that community and understand what motivates them and what brings them to the table and keeps them there. I understand just sort of their work environment and what challenges that they have, and what opportunities that they're looking for. I think those are probably the bigger things.
There's a ton of value in there. Having both sides of that is great.
Yeah.
Your journey's far from done. You've got a lot of things coming up. So let's cast our eyes forward a little bit.
Sure.
As you think about the next kind of quarter or two, what are the big objectives that you have? What are your goals over your next few quarters?
Oh yeah. So professionally, I definitely want to say that I'm exceeding my goals currently within my role, which is great. I want to continue that right until the end of the year. I want to meet all my sales forecasts. I want to sign up new broker relationships. We're launching in new provinces. We're launching new products, so I need to be in forefront of that. That's going to be super exciting. Personally, I consider myself a student for life. So I'm looking for that next opportunity to learn something and to be involved in something. I'm looking at doing potentially an online MBA. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm pricing it out and figuring it out right now. I've done a bad job, to tell you the truth, Joseph, of keeping in touch with the Uvaro community. And I always see something being posted on LinkedIn about an opportunity to join a call or to increase your knowledge and things like that. So I definitely want to get back into that community.
So while you got me here then, is there anything we can do that would be kind of more helpful, more supportive, either to make it easier to engage or just help you on your path at all?
I think I'm good. One of the things that I wanted to do overall is get a sales mentor. And I haven't been able to do that over the last little bit. I've been exploring my LinkedIn network to see who would be available for that. I find the instructors that I had, any questions or anything that I need to run through, they've always been great about connecting with me and helping me kind of, reevaluate the question and get me on the right path. So that's been a huge benefit for me.
Well, I've heard the ask loud and clear, and I'll see what I can do to help with some of those introductions and connections, because having the right mentor is always helpful.
Yeah, I definitely need a mentor.
Okay. I have learned a lot about your journey, and I'm super pumped to highlight it. I've got a couple of questions,
Sure.
and then I know I said we wouldn't keep you too long, so I'll go a couple
Yeah, no
more.
problem.
You spoke a little bit about balancing everything you've got right now, the stress of family and life and things like that. I'd love to help not just myself, but our listeners too. It's really about me though. What can we learn? What do you do? What quotes or what touchstones? What do you tell yourself to kind of make it through that stress, that grind? How do you keep that balance? What do you do?
I think my mantra is that this too shall pass. Like everything is temporary. What helps me as both an individual and professionally and personally is I make lists. I love to do a weekly list, a daily list of everything personally, and I label it personal and professional. What I need to get through, what my goals are, and things like that. Personally, it could be like grocery shopping. It could be making it to yoga twice a week. Things like that. I find when I write it down, I do it.
I love the combination, the list and this too shall pass.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a combination. So I think everything in life is temporary, and I think we get through it, and it's a mindset, and we try to keep positive, and we try to keep focused, and knowing with a good community and a good support network, whether it's personal or professional, you'll get through it.
This is great. It's a fantastic, delightful conversation. Last question for you,
Sure.
and then we can wrap up. If you were speaking to past Nancy, when you were in the middle of that transition, or somebody who was about to embark in a similar career change, what's the top piece of advice you'd have for that person or for your past self? What would you tell them now?
Take the leap.
Nice.
Absolutely take the leap. Don't overthink it. Any sort of training or any sort of building a community of business professionals is an absolute vital thing in your career. I wish I had taken this leap 5 years ago and instead of waiting. So I would don't overthink it.
I love how fast you were there with that answer too. Like it's just so appropriate.
I have a tendency to overthink things, and it stifles me and it slows me down. And then in hindsight, I'm like, why didn't I do this, years ago or months ago or something like that? It's really about keeping focus and moving forward and not being afraid of failure.
Nancy, these are very wise words, and I think it's the right way to wrap up the conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Joseph.
Yeah, your wisdom and your experience is so helpful here. So thank you so much.
That's it for this episode of the Seller's Journey podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe for more episodes, connect with us on LinkedIn, and join the movement towards finding career success today.